Hello, everyone, and welcome back to yet another episode of That Loser Talks About, a series where we talk about miscellaneous things that people may not give a shit about, but I do, and that gives me all the reason to talk about it. I am your host, whatever Ephraim, and I have been gone for quite a while. I don't really have much of an excuse for that. I've kind of just been busy, and also I recently just reunited with like a long lost best friend. We haven't talked to each other in literally like months, like 7 months. So I've been obsessing over that. But uh, this initially wasn't even supposed to be the video plan because originally I was actually gonna do a cover. But then I figured I'll just do that next week because I actually want to talk about something kind of urgent. Not urgent, but it's something I've kind of want to talk about for a while. I just wasn't sure how to like approach it, mainly because it's kind of like a touchy subject. And I sort of made a video on it. And once I say what it is, it'll kind of make sense. But it's about religion, I guess. Or mainly just Catholicism, I guess, not religion as a whole, just Catholicism, I guess. Or I guess religion as a whole. It really depends how I ramble. I already made a video essentially mocking the Bible, and that was a fun video to make. It was honestly it's a very tedious process. Let's go behind the scenes a little bit. First, the costumes were like, I wasn't gonna go all out and make like costumes and shit, but it was it was somewhat difficult to like decide like what I wanted each biblical person to wear. Not to mention the fact that sometimes I forgot to record certain like scenes because I had to be I don't know how many separate videos I had to make, but sometimes like I had to like record a character saying something, stop that, change costume, record my line for another character, stop that, and that's a process. Sometimes I would somehow just forget to press record, and then once I go to edit it and stitch it all together, I find out, wait, where's this thing, or where's this thing, and it was a very frustrating process. But I'm glad I got put out. That was, I don't know even how long that was ago. That was like almost back in September, I think. But so what do I want to talk about? I don't really want to like go full on rant and say like religion's stupid or you shouldn't believe in it, because like I feel that's no one likes to hear that. I figured no one would really want to hear that, and quite frankly, I really don't have much of a reason to say that, because I do think to some degree religion helps people, gives people like a sense of purpose, a sense of hope. And I mean, at least to me personally, it's just like I feel like it's sort of religion's like false hope for like something for the future. Like you're putting all your faith into like this one thing, and you don't even know if it's like true or not. But I don't want to rant about all the scientific and theological whatevers. I want to talk about my personal experience with Catholicism, at least, because I've been growing up Catholic, and I went to a Catholic private school, kindergarten through 8th grade. So you can imagine how well that experience was, especially when I discovered that I really wasn't religious. So like, this is basically my experience with my experience with Catholicism and how I not came to my senses necessarily. It sounds a little condescending, but how I came to the realization that I'm not really a religious person. I shouldn't really be afraid of that. So it all started. Let's see. It all started back in 2nd grade. Let's start back there. Basically, in like Catholic school or whatever. Basically, when you're in 2nd grade, well, what you do is something called communion. And basically it's like this part of the mass where people stand up, they walk over to like the Eucharistic minister who like hands out, you know, the like the little wafer thing that's supposed to represent like Jesus' body or whatever. You go to another Eucharistic minister, they give you wine, supposed to be Jesus' blood. It's all like symbolism. It's whatever. But basically, second grade was like the time when, okay, you're ready to do this. So basically, normally you would do this in like April, May. So we're doing this. You have to do training for it. It's not really training. It's just kind of like religious ed, where they try to like relate this to you and try to like make you understand why you're doing this. And like second grade me was expecting like something magical to happen. Like when it came to religion, I always expected something like fantastical and miraculous to happen whenever something like this happened. I don't know what I was necessarily expecting. I was expecting like my first communion to be like this big giant thing. Then came the day where I got to receive first communion, and I didn't really feel a damn thing. I got to taste it for the first time, I guess, but like that was the extent of it. But I mean, at least we went out to eat afterwards, so I guess like I got something out of it. So you can say I was a little disappointed. But being in Catholic school, I made a big deal out of it, so I mean, it was whatever, I guess. Fast forward a bit to 6th grade. 6th grade was the year where I really started to doubt a few things. I think that's the time I started to doubt God's existence, as in, I just didn't believe there's no way there could be a God out there. There's no way there's this omniscient being who knew your every move, knew everything. It's just, it didn't make any sense. This is also a time where in one of my classes we sort of started learning about like ancient civilizations and all these false gods, and I don't think inference is the best word, but I made like the connection that, you know, they made it, with it being a Catholic school, they made it a point to really emphasize that the ancient gods that these people believed in weren't actual gods and we shouldn't worship them. I mean, it's in the 10 Commandments, which is like the 10 laws of Catholicism, basically. And one of them is something about false gods, like do not put your faith in false gods or whatever. But that got me thinking, what makes our God real, but makes them different? Because they still prayed to those gods the same way we do. The only real difference is that they made offerings to those gods. And I guess to some extent, we sometimes make offerings, just to a much lesser extent. So it was all kind of just churning in my brain, like how this didn't make sense. So I go through 7th grade. My doubts keep growing and growing. And 8th grade was basically the official year where I was like, okay, yeah, there's no way. There's no way God's real. This is all bullshit. I don't want to be Catholic anymore. And personally, I wanted to be. I didn't want to really believe in this stuff anymore. I didn't want to believe in all this classic stuff, because I just felt like, it was fake in some sense. I don't want to call it fake, but to some degree it is. And I really started questioning some of the things that happened in the Bible, like how could Mary have a baby without having sex with Joseph? Allegedly, that's the alleged story. It's not like she had this weird birth defect where she can just give birth spontaneously out of air. No, the Bible just didn't want to delve into the fact that Mary cheated on Joseph for someone with possibly a bigger dick, and it's not something you really want to teach children, I suppose. But and it's just very. I don't want to say it's like all fairy tale or whatever, because there are people who are like genuinely like devout and really dedicate their lives to this religion or whatever. I mean, like, kudos to them. Like, they can. I mean, if they really see purpose in these things, and want to, like, dedicate their life to it, then so be it. I'm not going to rain on your parade. It's just, in my opinion, like, religions are like almost all religions are just like glorified cults to a sense, and which is fine. I mean, it's not like we're necessary. I mean, at least when it comes to Christianity or Catholicism, we're not really being taught anything. Like, we're not making sacrifices. We're not like those kind of cults. But like the whole idea of cults is to, like, make you feel safe, make you feel like welcome, give you hope, and that's what religion is. And the biggest problem is with Catholicism. I don't know about any other religions and their holy scriptures. They leave so much up to interpretation to the point where, like, even like the official people really don't know how to like interpret it. In the book of Leviticus, it mentions something about laying with a child in the same fashion as laying with a woman, and it's basically an idea. It's basically trying to say, don't be a pedophile. Which in Hebrew, I think it was Hebrew, and when it got translated, it translated to man or something, and basically this whole thing started up where God doesn't. You shouldn't be gay. Gay's not the Christian way. That was very. At least now, you don't really see too much of that craze anymore. Most people know that it was just a mistranslation. Some people still believe it wasn't a mistranslation. But so many things in the Bible are just like, you're just filled with like these parables and like all these thousands of metaphors. Like, we don't need 1,000 metaphors to know that we shouldn't be a dick. Like, I don't understand why we had to listen to like all these different stories and parables that taught us a lesson. Like, yeah, it helped us relate to it a little bit. But a simple, a much smaller condensed book could have very easily gotten the job across with a fraction less of all the fluff and filler that the Bible is. I mean, the Bible is like almost like this thick, maybe a little bit more. I haven't had a Bible in my hands, and thank God I haven't. But being a newfound atheist in the Catholic school really wasn't fun, especially in religion class, where like you had to like come up with like these answers, like, what would you do if God, what is God calling you to do, and questions like that. You kind of had to bullshit your answers, which was genuinely very hard to like really like bullshit your answers like that constantly, because like especially once you figured out that you're not really Catholic, it's very hard to do that. It's different when you're blindly following along with it and you kind of just write whatever. Now you're fully conscious that you're lying in a sense. But that was one of the biggest reasons why I was so excited to go to a public high school, free from religion and stuff. Unfortunately, I'm still forced to go to church and stuff, which does ultimately suck. But most of my older siblings, like, they moved out and shit. They don't even follow the church, to my knowledge. I know one of my sisters like firsthand told me that she doesn't go to church, which is like, really? Like, I'm surprised, because my mom, she's crazy. She's a crazy Jesus freak. My dad's a little more chill on the whole religious thing, but my mom's really trying to dedicate herself to like this religious life, because it's literally the only thing she has left at this point. Otherwise, she's just completely helpless, and I can't blame her for that, given how much of a mess she is. In all due respect, but I mean, religion really does a number on people, and if you aren't careful, and you like dedicate, you like you throw yourself, if you throw yourself in too deep, then like you're just gonna end up like this crazy Jesus freak who's like, oh, abortion is murder. People who do abortion should go to jail, which is actually something my mom believes in. Like if you get an abortion, you should be in jail, which is just mind-boggling. But we're gonna save abortion for another video. Maybe not. Maybe I could just save another video talking about my crazy mother. So what's the moral here? Is there even really a moral? Believe in what you want to believe in. If you want to believe in religion, believe in a religion. Don't let my opinion. Don't necessarily take my opinion on Catholicism into account per se. I mean, like I said, this is just my experiences with Catholicism, how I came to the realization that this really isn't for me, and and I mean, either way, don't try to shove your ideas down anyone's throat. That's just not going to get anyone anywhere. It's just going to piss people off. There's conflict. No one likes conflict. But with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you are new here, consider subscribing, leaving a like, leaving possibly a comment, or even an angry comment, calling me out on all my bullshit. I wouldn't be surprised if you do that. Just do it in a respectful manner, or don't. I mean, again, I can't control you, I suppose. But until next time, I'm Ephraim, and this has been Somebody Who Talks About. I'll see y'all next time. Peace.